Hello guys and dolls, welcome back. I am so excited to do today's video for you. This is the Edwardian Era as part of my Halloween Icon series. I am so excited to bring you guys this video. I am a huge fan of Downton Abbey, and I think that the Gibson Girl look is just so incredibly beautiful. So to combine these two together in an Edwardian Era look is just so exciting for me personally, but also elements of this can be used in your everyday life. I honestly think this hairstyle is so beautiful. I will absolutely be pulling this out in just my everyday life. I think this would particularly go really good with a lot of the fashion trends of today. God, that sounds like so cheesy. The fashion trends of today. So it's kind of a little bit of a Stevie Nicks vibe, and so it would go great with soft goth looks or just any kind of thing where you want to look really romantic and beautiful. This hairstyle is perfect and it's pretty easy to achieve. I want to give a little shout out to Parlor Diary. It's a fantastic blog where I learned how to do this hairstyle because I was really stumped on how to create it with my shorter hair, and all you really need is a wave tool and some patience, but it's pretty easy to achieve, to be honest with you. The other element of this in terms of the tutorial portion is the makeup, which really is minimalistic makeup because that's what women wore back then. Makeup was still a social taboo. I mean, women did kind of sneak it. There was rouge, there was powder, there was base that you could buy, but it was all sort of under the table. You'd buy it in a brown paper bag and hopefully no one saw you purchasing it. It was a bit of a lady's secret, and so today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my lady secrets on how to achieve invisible makeup, where you don't really look made up, but you do look a little bit better than when you first woke up. It does even out your skin. You've got a little color on your cheeks. So overall, I'm hoping that you guys can walk away with something from this tutorial that will help you incorporate into your everyday hair and makeup routines, but it's also kind of showing you a way to get a look that's a little bit more vintage, over 100 years old. So I hope that you enjoy this look, and let's go ahead and get started. To begin today, I've already taken care of all of my skincare. My skin's nice and plump and hydrated and fresh and lovely and lofty and pillowy and ready for makeup. I'm not going to use primer today because I'm trying to create that very skin-like, very natural look. So what I'm going to use for foundation today is the Makeup Forever Water Blend. I've had quite a bit of success with this foundation, applying it with my fingers as well. I just want to give myself, you know, a nice well-applied canvas today since I'm not going to be doing very much else with the skin. One thing I really love about this foundation is that it's incredibly sheer. You can just barely tell where I've applied it just because that part of my skin is a little bit less red. It's not as overtly foundation or makeup-y, which is perfect for doing period makeup because you don't have that look of heavily made up skin. Like nowadays we can have invisible foundations that have crazy coverage but can still look very skin-like, whereas they didn't have that technology. It was either like crazy coverage and very obviously cake-faced, or very, very minimal bases. I am going to go ahead and give my eyebrows just a little bit of a fill. I'm not going to use a pencil. What I'm going to use is a brow gel. This is from Senna Cosmetics, and this has a little bit of shimmer to it, which really mimics the natural shine of the hairs. So it doesn't look as makeup-y when you put it on, even though it has shimmer in it. Like, you're like, what shimmery eyebrow gel? That's weird. It works beautifully. And this one really holds the brows in place as well. And you can see it just gives me a little bit of depth, slightly closer to the red that I have my hair, whereas my natural brow is just a little more ash-toned. For eyeshadow today, I'm not really going to wear eyeshadow. In fact, I'm going to wear this really awesome product from RMS Beauty. I got this from Beautylish. It is a absolutely beautiful rose gold, and this is just going to add a little bit of shine and luminosity to my eyes. So I'm taking my ring finger, and I'm just going to pop this on my eyelid. And actually, this is pretty historically accurate. They had little pots of rouge and little pots of things like Vaseline that they would put on their eyelid to give it a little bit of shine and glow. I'm going to also use this to add a little bit of shine and glow to the tops of my cheekbones. It's very subtle. Of course, you could apply it more heavily if you'd like, but you can really see on this side that beautiful luminosity that it gives. Now at this time they would have had rouge in a little pot, like a little cream rouge type product. So I'm going to use the modern equivalent. This is a Makeup Atelier cream blush in the color Ambering Rose, which is just lovely and works so nice with my red hair. So we're going to go ahead and pop that on my ring finger. And I'm going to apply it to like the back side of my apple of my cheeks, like I smile really high. Not right here, but sort of like on the back side. And then I'll take a secondary finger and I'll use that to blend it out, and so we're not wasting the product that's still on the ring finger. Very, very subtle. Subtle is the name of the game today. Next, I'm going to do a bit of powder, and it's going to be very minimal. I'm going to be using a powder that doesn't have a lot of texture to it. This is a Marc Jacobs Compact in Perfection powder. This is technically a powder foundation, but I find it to be rather sheer. And I'm just going to be pressing this into my skin where it tends to be a bit shiny. And this will also set the cream blush in place. And then for mascara today, I'm not going to wear a black mascara, and since I don't actually have a brown on hand, I'm going to take this NYX Tinted Brow Gel in Espresso, and I'm going to apply this to my eyelashes. If you feel like this is not quite enough definition for you, I totally understand wanting to have a little bit more definition, particularly to the eyes. So in that case, my recommendation would be to use a brown liner versus using a black. So this is Kat Von D's Mad Max Brown. I got this in my Sephora Play box. And what I'm going to do is, rather than draw a straight line, which would look a little more obvious, I'm going to periodically kind of dip the brush in between the lashes and just sort of stamp it on a bit. And then for lips, I'm going to use this Pixie lip balm that I have in Natural Rose. The makeup at this point is done. Actually, it reminds me quite a bit of Lady Sybil, and now it's time to move on to the hair. So for this hair look, I have all of my hair just kind of, second day. It doesn't look exactly very exciting. To create the wave texture that you'll need for this hairstyle, you can braid your hair the night before and kind of let it be all wavy and stuff. For me, I find that when I do that, I don't have enough wave right at the root of the hair, so I'm going to be using a wave tool, which I have preheated to 360. You do it whatever temperature you feel that you need. What it is it sort of sandwiches your hair in almost like a crimper. So I'm going to start this out by sectioning my hair. I have the back row here. I might do this in 2 or 3 sections, just kind of depending on how things feel as we go along. And I usually start from the back and work my way to the front, at least in the bottom layers. And I will grab my hair and just clamp it. It's so easy to do it with this little tool. Something that might have taken me, hours to do, like a finger wave type thing with a regular curling iron, is super fast with this. Now, if you're skilled with a regular curling iron, you could just use that as well. One thing you might notice is I'm not brushing my hair. I'm not overly being fancy about how I grab it. I'm just kind of grabbing chunks of it, because the point is for it to be a little undone and a little bit loose looking and kind of freeform. So you don't want it overly structured. You do want all the hair wave to give it texture, but you don't need to worry so much about whether you're grabbing perfect clean sections. It's just a little bit more freeform and bohemian than, say, like vintage pinup hairstyling. Okay, so once you have it all waved and it's all combed out and it's kind of a mess, we're going to go ahead and get started with the actual styling. Now, I do want to tell you guys that this might not, I know my hair looks really ridiculous, this might not turn out perfectly for you on the first time. The good thing about this hairstyle is it's very easy to unpin and try again. So we are going to do round 2. So I am just grabbing the front section of this hair. We're going to deal with this later. The main thing is we need to get this back section in as high of a ponytail as we can manage. So what I'm going to do is work with this in sections to get it as high as possible. So like unnaturally high from where the hair is. Because I tried just gathering it up last time and then my hair wasn't really long enough. And that's the big rub here, is trying to do a hairstyle like this when you have medium length hair. Women at this time would have had very, very long hair, so they would have had a lot of hair to work with to create these hairstyles. So in the last little bit, a lot of it won't actually gather up into the high ponytail, but you just work it as best you can. But you don't want it to look too tight. So you can gently comb it up, but you don't want it to have like that super smooth, like modern ponytail look. Twist and hold the hair with a pin. So that way a lot of this looser section, can even sort of loosen that up a bit. But then I'm going to grab a hair elastic and I'm going to pin this ponytail way, way, way far forward. And then for right now, we're just gonna let that sit back. I have some of this hair that's from the front section that's sort of in the back. we'll worry about that in a moment, because that'll be part of our bun. So what you want to do is start taking sections of the hair and pinning it back, and you could even try to recreate some of that wave shape as you're pinning it back. You can pin it in place, or you can just sort of play with it at first and kind of see, okay, where is this at? How do I like this? Play with the shape, play with the proportion, and all that stuff. It's hard to tell you exactly how to do this because it's going to turn out a little bit different each time you do it, and everyone's hair is a little bit different, and depending on how you waved it and blah, blah, blah. But I'll show you guys how I do it. So I usually start with this front section here, and I will tease it a little bit, or a lot of it. And I'm just using my Tangle teaser. And I will gather it, very, very, very lightly combing through the hair so as to not rip through that tease I just did. And I'll sort of let it loosen itself out so that the waves will come back. And then I will twist it back. And then I'll pin it in place with a bobby pin. And I'll leave it for now because we can always fuss with it a bit in a minute, especially once these other sections come in. Tease it. And then I will actually brush it sort of with the other section. And when I pin it in place, I'm sort of giving it volume, but I'm also sort of bringing it in towards the center. And then I will grab a pin, give it volume, but bring it and pin it in towards the center, and you can even brush it together with that first section. Grab a pin and pin it. And then you want to kind of evaluate, okay, where are we? Nope, it needs to be bigger. We need that big, huge Gibson Girl. So you can even grab the sections and just kind of pull on them to bring them forward more. So now you have this big, huge monster of hair, right? Now you could twist this into like a rounded, like ballerina bun. What I will do is just try to make it look as large as possible. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually almost like shaping my hair to make the bun look like it's bigger. So I'm taking some like bobby pins and just sort of placing them where my messy bun is, because I don't have as much hair. Now if you have a lot more hair, you'll have a bigger bun. But my hair is relatively short for this style, so I gotta kind of fake it till I make it. And I do think that this lip is nice and probably very period appropriate, but I just want a little more color. So I'm going to take MAC's Claret Cask from the Lip Tensity line and just... And then I bought this beautiful comb on Etsy. It is actually from that era, and women would wear them in their hair, like, well, maybe more like something like this. Even potentially, which is quite nice actually to wear it back there, even though you can't see it from the front. It covers the ponytail holder. Now we're ready for the dress. And here we have the completed look. I think that it all just comes together so very beautifully. I got the dress online from wardrobeshop.com, so I'll have the link in the description bar down below so you guys can check that out if you'd like to. I am so excited to share this dress with you. It's available in a large size range, different styles, different colors, things like that. I decided to go for the more demure color because I felt like it was a little bit easier to incorporate with different outfits. These satin stretch gloves that I'm wearing are from hipsandcurves.com. They have a great amount of stretch to them. They're super comfortable, and they will fit a pretty large size hand. In fact, they would stretch quite a bit more in the finger as well as in the wrist. So awesome gloves. I will have them linked in the description bar down below. These also will work for so many different costumes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be your own kind of beautiful.